and welcome to this update video of what's new in SAS Visual Analytics through the 2307 through 2312 releases. Let's dive right into it because there's quite a lot of new things. First, we're going to start things off in the data pane, where you can see those little shields that have been added to indicate if it's maybe private information within those variables. That information is fed into Visual Analytics from SAS Information Catalog. Staying within the data pane, we go to the new data item, and let's say we want to create a new calculated item. First up, you can see we have a new button in here, new parameter, which enables us to quickly create new parameters directly from this calculation editor, which is pretty handy. Next, we can now go into the operators, functions, data to filter for the things we are looking for, which is also, again, very helpful to quickly navigate around through the interface. Let's go to the functions one, and if we are scrolling through, let's say we want to use one of the aggregation functions, let's say cumulative period. You can see we now have the ability to define this within a visual interface. So you can click the variables in here to set what you want it to be, instead of having to write everything yourself. Speaking of writing, let's say we have a very simple function right now. We want to add some context to it. You can use double slash to have a single line comment, or you can use slash star star slash, and in between here you can write whatever commentary you want for the other users to help them navigate what you have built more quickly. Again, super handy. Also new, if we go to the relative period as an example, we can now go to the scope, go to date, and instead of specifying a specific date, you can now specify a parameter, a date parameter, to be used in there to more dynamically calculate with periods. Again, super handy if you're building more complex reports. If we are leaving the calculated item editor, we can go to the data source icon, click view source table, and you get a nice pop-up menu to quickly scroll through the data, sort by columns. You can, of course, also hide things in here. You can export from here. You can get a quick overview of your data set and easily interact with it. Super handy if you're building a report and have some questions about your data. Let's now go more into an object-oriented view, where we talk about things that have been added on the object side of things. First, we can now go to the Actions menu, and if we're adding URL links, for example, to GitHub, you can now go and look at Open URL to preview what's going on in your report, or with the URL that you have linked. Also new, if we go to geographic data, you can now go to the Options menu and go to the map service, and you can now select, next to the standard and high contrast, you can now also select the light and the dark themed map background for OpenStreetMap, which can help increase the visual elements of your report. Talking about the visual elements of your report, if we go to the options of your report, you can go to the thumbnail object and you can select what will be the object displayed in SAS Drive as a thumbnail or in the homepage of SAS Visual Analytics, which is very cool to kind of make them more distinguishable from each other. We're staying with our geographical analysis object that we have in here, and if we go to maximize it, we get a new tab, Network Analysis Summary, that nicely summarizes the object or the content of our network into natural language, which helps understand what is displayed better. This functionality has also been added to the path analysis object. I know this is kind of a boring path analysis, but still you get a summary of what's going on in your object. And going to the automated explanation object, we can go to maximize it, and you now get an anomalies report that helps you identify, better understand what's going on within that when you're talking about anomalies, so you understand better. Switching gears a bit and talking about visual statistics objects that have been improved. In the logistic regression object, you now have the choice for an odds ratio plot, where before you had the influence and variable selection plot, which is nice. In the generalized additive model object, you can now go ahead and change the confidence level of that object, which can be nice to help change up how things are looking. In the support vector machine, you now have more control over the kernel functions. Specifically, you can now specify also sigmoid and radial basis function for your analysis. And finally, let's say you are using a decision tree and you would like to learn more about what the auto-tuning has done. You can go to View Auto-Tune Results, and if we scroll through here, you will see a highlighted row that contains the model that was selected by the auto-tuning. So you can see that iteration perfectly. Of course, you could also do this with the SVM. Right-click the object, View Auto-Tune Results, and let's scroll through here. And there we go, our selected model at the end. Now, going to more administrative options that have been added, if you go to Distribute Report, we have to first save our changes, of course. And you can now, instead of only doing email-based distribution, you now can also distribute to Microsoft Teams channels, which can be very handy if you're more into the Teams ecosystem instead of sending emails out to people. Also, if you have a lot of reports and you might phase some out, you can now go in the homepage directly to your recycling bin and delete old reports that you have and you maybe don't longer want anymore, and you can permanently delete them from your system, which is handy. So I hope you have enjoyed this update video of all the new features, functions, and capabilities inside of SAS Visual Analytics, with a quick view at SAS Visual Statistics as well in there. See you next time. Bye bye.